Hi guys, and welcome back to the VCT Game Changers APAC series, the league that's all about seeing how women in esports change the game. Who will be our first Game Changers APAC 1 champion? Which team will reign supreme? We're about to find out. I'm your host, Jenny Richie Lee, and with me on the desk to give you the lay of the land for day number 1 is Raf. How are we feeling today?
I am feeling mighty nervous, but with that intro, I am very, very confident that I am in good hands. And my goodness, your excitement is also super contagious. And with everything on the line, and with oh my gosh, I am actually so stunned by everything that's in front of me right now. And hey, don't laugh at the new guy. Come on now. I thought you said you would be
No, I'm
nice to
not.
me.
I'm so nice. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like I didn't do Game Changers last year either, so it's also like, I'm
Oh.
back. It's like fresh start. And talking about fresh start, I mean, this year it's been a bit of a long break, right? Since we've last seen any type of Game Changers competition. Also, it's been a while since we saw the Sapphire Girls playing in Berlin. It's, been a couple of months, so I'm glad that we are finally back here today. I think we do have the tournament format that we can explain to you guys because there are a couple of changes for this year for 2023. We are called the Apex series now. This year we do have a three opens. As you can see, stage one, there will be three opens. 6 teams qualify for elite through the open series. And then stage two, we will have the last chance qualifiers, similar to last year, where we will have the last two teams qualify for elite through last chance qualifiers. And then, of course, we've got stage three elite that I think is happening probably around October, towards the end of the year. And the winner for elite is going to be our APAC representative. So, a lot of pretty exciting stuff.
Absolutely, and like you mentioned, it has been quite a big break between both stages of
Mm-hmm.
Game Changers, and we are so excited to see the changes and how teams have sized up ever since the break, because the representation
Yep.
that we had on the global stage has been amazing. So the standard has only gone up higher.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And there are just a couple of dates on your screen. We do have most of the calendar blocked out all the way till end of July for Open 1, 2, and 3. I like how Open 1 this time around for the next 5 days, right? It's sort of like that little teaser. I think a lot of orgs, a lot of teams, even back in January, was still like trying to put their teams together, trying to get the rosters together and everything. And there's a bit of a break, right, between Open 1 and
Mm-hmm.
Open 2. It's like almost entire 2 months before we see the next Open. So Open 1, it's kind of that little palette cleanser. We're trying to see where every team is at, and then 2 months later is kind of really going to be where all the synergy, all the compositions come in, I think. But we're going to take a look at our prize pool very shortly. I think this is one of the things that we can all get pretty excited about. Of course, Riot, the backing, the money. I mean, the prize pool is also a pretty decent amount of change for Open 1. We'll find out by Sunday, of course. We do have a 10,000 US dollar prize pool that will be split amongst the winners of the Open 1, and then 6 out of the 8 teams at the end of the Open will qualify through. And it's just, LCQ, another 10,000, and then Elite, a
Oof.
whopping 35,000 US dollar prize pool. It's just absolutely insane. Like with this type of prize pool, these types of numbers, I think it's just a very good step in the right direction towards growing the competitive women's gaming scene.
Absolutely, and as our stages are progressing, the stakes
Mm-hmm.
do get much higher. And like you said,
Yeah.
this is going to be our first open, so it's a little bit of a feeling out thing where are the pieces really going to fit, and are teams
Mm-hmm.
really going to coordinate? I, I like that. Yes, they're like puzzle pieces. They're gonna link up like this.
Come on, that's why I'm on the desk. It's why I'm not playing, all right? Jeez, I don't have that, like, pro gamer mechanics, all right? But anyway, we're going to take a look at the bracket for open number 1. Of course, we do have a upper bracket, lower bracket type of format. If you've been watching from like last year, the year before, it's pretty much a similar format. However, this year though, we are coming out of a Swiss group stage. So the initial Swiss bracket, actually for Open 1, the participation, it's not shown on the bracket, but we had a whopping 70 teams participate in the Swiss bracket last week. So just the amount of orgs, the amount of teams, just the amount of girls who are trying so hard for APAC Game Changers is just absolutely amazing. It's just so good to see how far that we've come. But these are the top 8 teams that made it out from the 70 teams that played in Swiss.
I can't imagine the stress of being part of that big,
Oh
big pool
yeah.
to come out at the very top. And I feel like there's a
Uh
lot of
huh.
familiar names here for all of us and maybe potentially favorites already from the crowd. But like we mentioned, Open 1, there's going to be a lot of changes. So there might be some names that we might not be seeing now. They're probably still gearing up for, obviously, Open 2. But I feel like I'm also
Mm-hmm.
getting way too excited for what's ahead of us.
I know. I mean, a lot of good teams. I think a lot of the teams that we expected to make it out of the Swiss bracket did, right? So, like as you said, just a couple of names maybe that we aren't seeing this open one. Like Yoki, for example, Iniri also
Aw.
unfortunately will not be playing in open one. So hopefully open two, we'll see them come back. But this time around, of course, our very first series is going to be between Global Esports Phoenix versus Team SMG. And I think for both these teams, there's a very different direction that I think the organizations both went through coming into today. But we'll talk a bit more about the lineups when we come back, guys. We're going to go for a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll see y'all in just a bit. Hi guys, and welcome back. We're almost ready to hop into a game very shortly, but of course not before we take a look at the team rosters of both these teams. As we talked about just now, our very first series of the day of the entire Game Changers APAC Series Open 1 is going to be Global Esports Phoenix versus SMG. We're going to take a look at the GE Phoenix roster. On your screens first is Rose, Haifei, Kiri, Meow 16K, as well as Muffin Loop. And I'm pretty sure GE as an org have so many fans. Can we get just some hashtag GE fighting in the chat? I mean, this year, Global Esports have decided to go for a full Indian roster this season. And I mean, a couple of these players on the squad also, like Muffin Loop, Meow 16K, if you've been watching Game Changers, you will recognize some of these names. Of course, they were part of Asteria back in 2021. They've been in the scene for a while. Also, I think the previous iteration of this team has played in Elite before. So we've got a lot of cool things that we can expect out of a bunch of these players. And I mean, I'm sure that their fans are super excited about Global Esports for this series. Next up, it's going to be SMG.
So Team SMG, a very storied org already, and the accolades to come with it. Again, these are names that are incredibly familiar to you, but a quick rundown is Alexi, Camille, Kohaibi, a fan favorite, Shirazi, and Tara. Now, with the lady in the center, Kohaibi, one of the truest flexes of the game, has found so much success no matter what role she's played in, and I believe she's going to provide so much problems to GE Phoenix. And just to circle back on GE Phoenix, they do have the pressure of representing an entire region, and I'm very, very sure they're proud to do that. But Team SMG, they are looking to do the same. They're also very impressive. I believe they went on a tear in the Swiss stage. They went undefeated, and they did it so convincingly with the highest round differentials within all the teams.
Yeah, I mean, their round differential was something like 106 round difference in 6 series, and it was like just best of 3 series. It's just absolutely crazy. They were the only team to get anywhere close to like breaking the 100 map round difference. I think second
Ooh.
map difference was something like 80 or so. It was just absolutely nuts. One of two teams to have that perfect 6-0 score coming out of the Swiss brackets. And let's talk a bit about how we think this matchup is going to go. go, because before we went to break, right, we were saying that Global Esports Phoenix, their direction seems to be like full Indian roster. They're really trying to like make all the pieces of their puzzle happen this time around. The team has been very dominant in their own region. The thing is, we haven't really seen how they stack up to the rest of APAC, right? Whereas SMG, for them, it's more of like that really big rebuild that they're trying out, coming out from last year. Pretty much, they've only kept Kohivi. I think they besides Tarathiel as well, right, who played with them for LCQ, they pretty much let go most of the other members on their squad, kind of rebuilding around Kohibi and Tarathiel as well. On paper, again, a very strong team. So what do we think?
Well, what do we think? I feel like we are going to be able to dissect it when we jump into the map select here, because as you mentioned, there is a big stylistic clash between the orgs and the philosophy of how they want to approach the game. Now, just looking at this overall, when you see a Haven pick, when you see a Pearl pick, these are typically maps where you kind of want to size up and feel if the default of the enemy team is going to be on par with you. So that is really going to play into it, right? Because GE Phoenix, they've been so dominant in their own region and pretty much uncontested. Team SMG, you could say the same thing, and they've translated it very well going into our Swiss stage. So now this is a little bit of a clash of the Titans, don't you think?
I totally agree. I mean, I think especially for game changers in APAC, there's always like a lot of attention on Kaguya, on Sapphire, right? That's pretty much the biggest rivalry in our region. But I mean, for me personally, and this is not just, the nationalistic bias talking. This isn't just the fact that Team SMG, Singapore org, I'm from Singapore, it's not just that, but I always need to back up my girl Kohibi. It's just, she's just been like showing and proving every single year that she can kick it with the men in like any type of league. She's just so stacked, and just what an amazing player that she is. I just really want to see SMG get it together this year, because I feel like last year as well, they kind of ran into the same problem where they look very strong on paper, a lot of like very strong individual players, but somehow, sometimes during the maps, they just don't quite make it work. So hopefully, 2023 will be the year. They're my personal bias for getting that top spot for Open 1 at least. What about you? What do you think, Raph?
Well, you heard that here first, folks. She starts off, there is no regional bias, and then at the end of the sentence, there's a little bit of a bias. So I feel like as the day goes on, that's just going to grow. But I feel like I have to agree with you, and strongly, because Kohibi will contribute in bunches, not just in the way of fragging, it's just how she affects the flexibility of the team. Because we've talked about how modular she is as a player. Put me on a controller, I'll do it. Put me on a sentinel and duelist.
Yep.
She will succeed. But once again, I'm very excited what GE has to bring, because it has been a good minute since we've seen them and what developments they've had throughout the months that we haven't really, once again, seen these teams compete.
Yeah, I agree. What do we think of the Haven map pick? And then also, like, for map number 2, Pearl, what do we think? I mean, we're coming out of seeing worldwide the teams playing at Lock-In in Brazil. Like, we saw so much Haven. We saw like a whole bunch of strats. There's that like really annoying strat that personally I hate, which is like you plant for C long, and then even with like if you're like 1 or 2 man down, like you still end up winning because like they just can't contest. Like that sort of strategy. How do we feel like about the state of Haven, if that's going to impact maybe the first map at all? What do you think?
I mean, I feel like that's you feeling strongly about the Vision Strikers plan. I feel like that's been lovingly called in our APAC region,
Yes.
right? But it is so incredibly strong that any team that would employ it will have a high chance of success. But looking at Haven overall, as I mentioned, it is a testament to a lot of the teams, because this is incredibly attacker-sided. So it will, once again, stress out how formulated you are when it comes to strategy and just how quick you are to adapt in the mid-round. And as a defending team too, you kind of want to be the one to set the tone and try not to allow the attacker side to run it up as much as you can. But talking about things I personally dislike on Haven, I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but the Breach Fade combo has been so incredibly toxic. We've seen it at all levels, and it's been incredibly effective. Will we see it after a bit of an open meta, actually, with the recent events and once again the developments of everything within the last few months?
Yeah, I agree. One thing I really like about the meta lately is that there is so much creativity. I think especially compared to last year, right? Last year, like especially Haven, like it was, or like some other maps, is just very standard. Like, oh, you pick this map, you play this composition. There was like the double duelist. Right now, everyone's like, oh, we could play like single duelist, no duelist even. We could play like two smokes, stuff like that. Like, there's just so much creativity that we're seeing coming out of Lock-in Brazil. It's just so exciting. I
Mm,
just can't wait to see what both GE and SMG might have been cooking up in the last couple months. And
let him
that kind of
cook.
ties in. Let them cook. Exactly. Let them cook. That's gonna hopefully be the series that we will see today for series 1 and series 2. I want to see a lot of like creative. Will we see like the Harbor Viper Icebox, for
Mm,
example? Like I can't wait to like because we're starting a bit earlier than Pacific League that starts like next week, right? So technically we kind of have like the first jump on things on these new strats that people tried out in Brazil. So I'm excited. And when you're talking about the Haven map as well, how do you think this will impact both these teams? Because we're saying that GE and Team SMG, right? We're not sure about synergy. We're not sure whether these players have had enough time to just mesh and gel together, right? GE, this time they're running that full Indian roster, but not all of them are veterans to the game changer scene. I think like Kiri as well, no major team history. Rose, I don't think she's been playing for as long either. For Team SMG, their little problem is going to be like, how well do Kohaibi and Tara mesh with Alexi and Shirazi, who of course like were that famous duo, the core from Bryn Victress. So how do you feel that this will impact things, especially on a map like Haven?
Well, Haven, as we mentioned, it is going to be incredibly macro heavy, but of course, the pop off potential in both these teams, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, is off the charts, right? Especially with
Mm-hmm.
all the individual players we've listed. And GE has always been a team that's not been afraid of going against the meta and innovating to see what fits them the most, and to find their success in that way is something that's completely admirable. On the side of SMG,
Mm-hmm.
there's two schools of thought, right? It's Kohaibi and Tara plus the Brent Victor score. And so they might have a few ways of going around the mid round, and of course assessing what they could do, potentially rehit a site and just all these smaller calls, right? So in the intangible department, it's going to find that compromise to let all of them flourish without sacrificing, I would say, individual performance, because that's still incredibly important, especially in an environment like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. For some reason, I feel as if both these teams will probably do better on attack. I don't know why I feel this, like for Haven in particular, but it's kind of like when you have teams that are about that firepower, right? And you're like, oh, you expect them to be able to like win those 1 versus 1 duels. If you have like a lot of space, like you kind
Mm-hmm.
of think that that's where their advantage is going to come out from. Like on paper, a lot of strong pieces from both these teams, but of course, games, they aren't won on paper, they're won on the computer, the map. I'm not sure. I don't know where I was heading with this, but you get it. You get what I mean. And just these two teams, oh, I think we seem to be having a couple of technical issues, so we're not ready to get into agent select just yet. I think we will go for a very short break before we hopefully can come back with the agent compositions from both these sides for you. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully we're going to be back very shortly. All right, guys, for the third time, we are finally back with what will hopefully be the start of the VCT Game Changers APAC Series Open 1 game number 1 today between Global Esports Phoenix and SMG. We got word from production. We are almost ready to finally make it into that Agent Select. And talking about that Agent Select, Raf, we were talking about the Breach and Fade combo. What other agents would you be excited to see, or are you expecting to see this time around?
I know a lot of analysts and coaches are going to disagree with me on this one, but I would always love to see a Reina pick. I know it's a bit of a... It's like, why would you do
Ooh.
that? Because I love seeing players pop off. I love player expression. I just love the ability to steamroll and be an absolute Terminator. But on a more serious answer, I guess I'm just really excited to see how Haven is going to turn out in general, because you did mention we are running a lot of double controller now. We're running no duelist
Mm-hmm.
comps, and I feel like it's viable on Haven. I guess I want to see a little bit of Chamber because he has fallen out of favor in recent light, but I still think he's very serviceable, especially in a map with a lot of long angles, just like Haven.
That is true. I think the chamber nerfs last year just kind of caused a
Mm.
lot of players on some teams to suddenly not be on those teams anymore. I think they realized like, you know, we just can't have an agent where his ult is just so easily abusable. You don't really have that like lag time in between shots. I mean, what? But I would love to see a bit of chamber here and there. I think we have been seeing it on some maps, as you mentioned. We've seen it a bit on Lotus as well, I think, for lock in. So that would be pretty exciting. Reina, I think when Game Changers in APAC first started out, there are a lot of women players in our region who are Reina mains in solo queue. So that's always very exciting. I think for GE, Team SMG, if we are going to see those duelists, my money's probably on like Rays, on Jets. I think like Meow 16K, she is that duelist main, right? I think she plays mostly Rays as well. Muffin Loop also does play that Jet, but I mean, they'll have to see, of course, between the team who's going to go duelist, if they're going to go duelist, what they'll pick. And then, I mean, like Tara as well as Kohaibi have also shown that they can pick up those duelist roles here and there. So, yeah, I'm excited. I
I
think hopefully we'll get an agent select
select
soon.
soon.
Soon? Soon?
It, but in any case, I feel like you've had pretty strong reservations about Reina mains. I remember just one time I was called a silly Reina main for, you know, playing with Ray True, but it's okay. And I'm glad that
I
you.
I'm really grateful that like you kind of did the nice thing and censored me, because from what I remember, that was not the S word I used to when I was saying you
My.
were something Raina main.
Okay.
Thank you, but also thank you for the carry. Thank you for the carry. I mean, guys, like if y'all are watching, if you haven't seen Raf's stream, you should
Wow.
definitely check it out. Raf is
Um,
actually like correct at this game. You know, I am a bit toxic sometimes when
I'm
we
shy
play
now.
together, but like no, you are actually like you're actually correct.
Thank you.
You know, sometimes like you can't make the 1v5 happen, and that's not on you, that's on me. You know, I died early, it was my fault. You know, it was my fault, I admit that. We accept our faults, we just try to get better, and we move on. You know, that's kind of why I'm on the panel and I'm not playing in the tournament. You know, yeah, maybe someday you could give us some tips
S-
on how to main Rena in
Just
this current day and age, you
the
know?
current
Yeah.
day and age. Oh my goodness, I have a visitor in my room, guys, and yeah, hi. It's her Game Changers debut. Manju, say hi to the people. You're a very good
Oh
dog.
my god.
But to reel it back to the conversation about agent picks, right? We were talking
Mm-hmm.
about Raze, and I'm glad that you brought that up again because
Yep.
Raze on Haven was not a very good pick at the beginning of the lifespan of the game, where people are like, what does she really
Mm-hmm.
bring? She's only going to control Garage, and she probably has abilities to really close the gap for A long. And wait a minute, all those things I just mentioned are important on Haven. And so people started running it a little bit more. This time around, we might actually see that on the field, as I think we are going to be jumping into the Agent Select very soon. What do you think, Manju? You think we're going to jump into the Agent Select soon? I
I
think that's a
mean,
yes.
we have a bit of time anyway, and I was wondering like if we were going to do the predictions, because with two people, it's kind of like if we have a different opinion, it's just like split 1-1, right? So now that we kind of have three creatures
Mm-hmm.
on the desk, I was thinking we could get some little predictions going down for series number one. Which way do you think the series is going to go, and what score do you think is going to be the final score line? I'll go first. I personally think that, you know, SMG 2-1. And what about you?
Do you agree with that? It looks like she does. She agrees with
Oh.
you. So that's two. And I feel like this could potentially go on a unanimous panel, especially with the three of us, right? Agreeing with SMG. And that's just because we are going to be looking at the statistics and how they've really proven themselves to be such a scary team. This is not a knock on global esports at all, because we know what they're capable of and how high they can really soar and really feel that ceiling, right? She's very excited. And I would have to agree, 2-1. I feel like there's a lot of surprises that GE can do. It's just maybe in the course of a longer series, the refinement of SMG may just really be the one to put them over the hill. Don't you think so? Ah, you see? She agrees.
She is so cute. I don't. Oh my god. We need like a dog cam or something.
Look, she loves it.
I
She
would pay money
absolutely
for
loves
the
it.
cam. I don't know how, like, because for us, right, like for the last few years, especially like, coming out of COVID and everything, like we got kind of used to like working remote from home. I would not be able to focus for like anything. If I were training, if I were like on camera with that little cutie just running around asking for
You wanna go
attention.
down? Okay, she wants to go down now. Bye bye. Enjoy your day. Bye bye. Okay, I also got very distracted there. I feel like that's my fault, guys. I'm so
So
sorry. She was so
no,
adorable.
it's all good, I'm sure. I mean, we're just kind of waiting for, I think, a couple of the last few player cams to sync up to show in the feed. Of course, if this is like one of your first times watching VCT Game Changers, at least for APAC or any type of FSL broadcast, there are a lot of rules in place for tournaments such as Game Changers and for any like women's tourney that we run, FSL in particular. They have strict rulings on, for example, you need to have not only your face camera, but you also need to have your screen, your keyboard, your mouse, as well as you in the frame. So, like, usually, like in the past, sometimes when I played in some tourneys, I have to use both my phone and then also like a camera in front of me because I just can't get like everything in the same picture. But essentially, you just need to prove that it's you who is the person like playing behind the monitor. If you're just capturing like, game footage and your peripherals, it might not be you, that sort of thing. So sometimes it does take a bit of setting up here and there to make sure like all the technical aspects are run. But it's just all good. We're just making sure things are by the book. That's what the little delay is for. It's open one. We don't always want there to be technical difficulties, but it does happen. So, patience
Yeah.
is a virtue. We'll make it. We'll make it through.
We'll make it through, and I feel like it's not gonna be too long, at least before we get to the agent select, and we can dissect that a little bit more. But this is a little off topic, and I feel like a question for chat. Do you agree that both me and Ray Richu have the best eyelashes on the broadcast? This also includes our other beautiful stream, but I feel like it's the lashes game. Just I'm, you know.
I feel like this is. I mean, so wait, are we? Is it considered leaking if we tell them who's casting series one?
Well, they're gonna find
later
out.
on. They are going to find out. But what I'm gonna just say is that I'm pretty sure that the two casters coming in after us that we will later toss to have like the best eyelashes, the best makeup, the best eyebrows. I mean, yours are great. Yours are great. Like, don't get me wrong.
you.
I'm just, mine are not.
Yours are
Mine
great.
not.
I don't like this negative self-talk. That your eyelashes are absolutely gorgeous. Don't do that. And of course, you mentioned that you also competed and you're like, there was a carrying and you're a little shy when it comes to game performance. I don't believe that. I believe you are radiant and you are just holding back on me. I strongly believe that. It's a conspiracy, but I think it's true.
That is actually so nice. That is like the nicest thing anyone has said to me like this year. Thank you.
I'll take it back then.
Thank you. What?
I'm
No,
joking.
no takesies, backsies.
joking.
No. Wow. I thought we were like building that, little bit of like desk synergy because it is day one, and I think like we're gonna be working together in a couple days on the broadcast as well. But I'm really glad that like you're on Game Changers this year and that I'm back as well. It's been such a long time. Is it this way? No, this way.
No, it's the other way. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here and, just to be around such wonderful people and just to see the development of Game Changers and to see everything.
Mechanics,
Yes.
Raph. Mechanics, one job.
Yeah,
Stupid
but, like,
Reina. Yay. Aw.
I got the
You were
last laugh
saying?
in, ladies and gents. I was saying that I'm just very excited to see how the teams have developed all throughout because it has been a long absence and it has been, 2 or 3 metas since we've actually seen everybody perform at
Yep.
such a level we're going to be presenting to you today. So the excitement's already going to be building up as we keep going. But of course, at the same time, we can't get too ahead of ourselves. There is still a few opens out there, so
Yeah,
Everybody
and
who's mm-hmm.
yeah, no, I think for both these teams, like you were saying, there's been a bit of a long break since like the last
Mm-hmm.
game changers or last tourney that these teams could participate in, right? And I think like I'm just not sure how big of an impact that will cause for these teams, just having that much expectations on them, right? Global Esports, I mean, their main team also just has such a massive following on social media. Also, I think their announcement video and everything was just bonkers, stuff like that. Like they have so many people supporting them, behind them, like wanting them to put on a good show. And then for Team SMG as well, like just last year, kind of ending up at like the top 3, 4 spot at the end of last year. So they definitely will have a lot to prove also. I think the org was just like, okay, we're going to try things out completely new, except for Kohivi, except for Tara coming into this year. So if they don't show up, they don't perform in Open 1, I mean, that's just going to cause a lot of questions for the rest of the year. So I don't know. I hope these girls are ready for that pressure, and I just hope that they perform.
I like the way you edit. I mean, I don't know. You know, it's just a lot of pressure. They're slated to be the best. I don't know. That's just my opinion. You know, no pressure, girls.
I mean, it's just like the suffering from success, you know?
Mm,
Like, oh my god, I am so good. Like, I am radiant. Like,
exactly.
just
You
casual
see,
kind of queen mentality that we like to see.
in any case, I think we are finally going to be jumping into the agent select. And one of us here is very, very happy. Actually, both of us are very happy because we have been speculating for the last a good minute or so. And I believe we've talked about quite a few things and variations. So, are we jumping into it? Okay. We are. Very, very soon. So,
Yeah,
any.
I think
Mhm.
we're loading into agent select. It's happening, guys. It's happening. We are so sorry for the wait to all of the viewers right here. Of course, we are running 2 different series on 2 different streams. We are
Mhm.
on FSL, twitch.tv/FSL, and then we also are on FSL_2, which if you're watching us, you're here right now. But if you're just really hungry to watch some games, some maps being played, of course, check out the other streams. There is a Facebook as well as YouTube streams. We do have the Thai stream, the Indo stream that are back once again for this year. But this game, this series, if you're a diehard fan, Global Esports Phoenix or Team SMG, this is the right place to be just a few more minutes from now. Yes, right place, bit of a wrong time, but it will be the right time in a bit, just a bit.
Wow. Is that coming from personal experience, Raichu?
I
It's
I
gonna be
like
the right time.
Oh my
Soon.
god. Right person, wrong time? I don't know, man. It's getting a bit too personal up in here, but I took a look at our Discord, like the production and like our Game Changers Discord, and they're like trolling us. They're like, oh, Caster. Marquis, right? From last year's Game Changers, he's
That's
like,
right.
Caster's start game. It's not on us, Key. It's not on us. We're trying our best. We're trying our best. The game
I
will
like how
start
this
soon.
is. Yeah. Oh, there you go. I was about to say, I like how this has turned into a bit of a mini podcast, but of course, we can't let that go on for too long.
I I I don't know how I feel about this view.
I like it.
Yeah?
You can have different
Oh.
opinions.
Oh, wow. We're playing. Are we going to be playing this mirror matchup? They're hovering it. They haven't fully locked it in, but chances are good. We're going to see a completely mirror
Hmm.
matchup. What do we think about this?
I feel like when you go for an Astra pick along with a Sova pick, you are really looking to be very careful with your approach and be incredibly methodical in how you want to measure the map because the range for both these agents are going to be insane. Naturally, we're going to have that breach just so we can support A main and just have, or not A main rather, sewers, and just have that point of contact to be occupied. So with the agents that we've seen and your pondering face, I feel like there's a lot of thoughts going on in your head, Reiruchu.
No, because we were talking about that earlier, right? About like whether like we would see like maybe one or so duelists, but this time around, KJ, Astra, and Sova. I mean, we were saying like Haven especially, like it's very strong for the attackers for this map. But I think both teams are playing it a bit more safe this time around, which I think was not what we had initially expected, right? Coming into this, we were like, oh, like they've got a lot of players with a lot of firepower. Maybe they'll go more aggressive, but that was completely not what we saw from Agent Select. But guys, it's the moment of truth. It's finally here. We are ready to hop into game. We're going to hand the time over into the more than capable hands of your casters, Donut and Tash Bunny. Donut Bunny, Tash Donnie. They'll figure out a duo name, guys. But ladies, take it away.
Thank you very much to our awesome panel. We have Reirachu as well as Rav. With me, we have the ultimate duo, Tash Buddy and Donut once again. We are so excited to be here for you guys as we open up the sub stream here with two very major teams.
Yeah, we're very excited to see Global Esports Phoenix versus Team SMG. We've had a sneak peek of what they have selected for their agents, and it is going to be a mirror matchup. But when it comes to performance, is it going to be another mirror, or will one actually topple over the other? Earlier on, I think the analysts mentioned that they are favoring Team SMG because of their aggression, and here they go, here in the C site.
Easy entry from Alexi, very fast, but Kohibi by Taipei. Check her out. Good trade on trade here from everyone. Regardless, 4 on 3. Still very much winnable. Kohibi is so very low. Talk about Kohibi and her firepower. Even on Sova, she's playing so very aggressive. Shouts coming from just yet. See, front flank. Nice shot to the head. Followed up flash. Does have a teammate covering her over on log side. Good push out, but Rose will be punished for that swing. Lexi, first nothing happened, but Tara cleans up house.
And here we are, Team SMG with that aggressive push towards C-Long. They just capture that first round, and for us, right? They mentioned that the round differential is very important, and given that first round, I think it's going to be heavily in their favor. They're able to buy up a Vandal for Alexi, even a Guardian, a Spectre, and as well as another one for Camu, and this is going to be a show for us coming into the second round. Question is, will GE Phoenix respond with just these shorties? I think they have a plan here.
Right, or they're just gonna go for that push out. There's nothing to do. Let's get a bit of a tag. Will be punished by Lexi. This force buy from her is giving a lot of value. The pushers come out here. We're bottom side. Camu pushing up forward as Shirazi Camu got one more. Nice little trade out here despite aggressive buys from GE. They did manage to get out two.
Yeah, that was still a great round for GE Phoenix. They knew what they expected as well from Team SMG. The aggression once they get to the C side for the first round, and the second round now for the A side, they stacked it up. And I think this should be the reads that we want to see here from Team Global Esports Phoenix. Read the opponents, read Team SMG, read how Alexi will play this map, because she's a showstopper basically, even if she's playing Jet.
Oh, aggressive. They have thrown out their utility. Full control of A long, but that does not deter SMG at all. The name of the game is aggression. W key will be pressed. Dash activated by Lessie. Not sure if she's gonna actually get anything out of that. Nope. Not used. You can hear the stars already being placed by the Astra. Immediately, aggressive pushes come out to Lessie. With that updraft, gets one more for Hybe in the flank. Finding one more. There's on the backside. Full control of A site. Now what GE has done here is vacated the entire site. They're giving it away. Waiting for their teammate or Meow16 to come by closer to at least play together. Coming in from Link is a very, very annoying thing to do. It's very choky, hard to get inside. And as for Heaven, completely smoked out. Ifei, he has heart left, but sprays come out. Terra for through aggression will be rewarded from SMG. And despite them having that bonus, they did
Look
not win
down
that
on
round.
them, my friends.
And this is not what you expected, right? From this round, the buy of Global Esports Phoenix, it just disappeared. Team SMG, they knew what they wanted. They wanted to go back to the A site, but this time they secured all of the kills. The timing of that gravity well as well from Tara was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
When they were ready to push forward, nope, it's gonna be a pause for you guys. Because they
Timing's
were
so
ready.
good.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of utility, now that Tara is here, I think she is going to be the game changer for Team SMG. The calls from her, and as well as now Kuhaibi is being the flex, right, for the team. It used to be Alexi, but I think she shines more as that duelist. And given this balance, right, the balance of aggression, the balance of brain power for Team SMG, it just really flows. But GE Phoenix, what they need to do for this round is respond not just with the firepower, but also with the anti-strats.
Yeah, I really like the fact that Kohibi is playing Sova on this map in particular because she is a very aggressive Sova. She's very proactive, and as soon as Alexi hits the site, she's already close by inside. How many times have these two gotten a nice crossfire as they're both entering the site? It's a very different dynamic than what we expect from maybe like a double duelist. What do you think?
Yeah, especially if they go towards the A site, right? The entry points are very narrow. When you're defending, you have the advantage. But once Team SMG actually captures the A site, you mentioned this, it's quite harder to retake. And given this pause, right, I think not only do the players have to reconnect, but also to rethink their current plays. Because this map is a pick of Team SMG. And if they've selected this, this means that they're quite confident. And given the 3 rounds, right, just an assumption, given what we saw earlier on,
Yeah.
is that Team SMG really feels confident, and it's oozing at the moment.
It's not just about confidence, I think it's also their read. To be honest, like how many times have they sort of gotten that read that GE was gonna go for those aggressive use of utils, those aggressive pushes up to A long. And it feels like even though Muffin Loop has been trying to get those picks early, he was punished for it so many times.
Turret down. Placing
Maybe
swarm
another
grenade.
punish
Swarm
here
grenade
for
out.
Meow 16k.
Placing swarm grenade.
She usually does play the duelist, so I don't know if she is comfortable as the Astra, but we've seen them play. Their stats say otherwise. But this time they are going to be pushing up towards B window, but the
Oh, look how
timing isn't quite
fast.
right.
Immediate push out onto A long. Full control of the area. Lexi is already on the site. No other person is waiting. You do have solo Killjoy. Ooh, Shirazi in the backside. Timing not on her side. Did not expect. Push over on the other side. And this time, it's a very interesting sort of retake here. Coming in from main Rose on the other side. Tara pushes up. Punishes Rose for the aggression. Kiri from the top side there, unable to land any of her shots.
Last player
Deficit,
standing.
don't have a lot in their hands. Kwahibi leans out Kiri. Only one person left alive is gonna be Haifei, rather. With only a Bucky in her hand. I don't think she can get any value, making sure to stay away from the recon. Some wall bangs on the other side. She is gonna try and save that Bucky for the next round. And I think in this situation, it might be best because at this point, they've lost. Well, not gonna go down. Sorry, she's not saving. She's going down to the spike rather. But this round, they have lost so many rounds in a row.
We get a
As we
pick.
go
Let's move
into
in.
round number
Got it?
4, I think it's time for Global Esports to really rethink how exactly they want to play this.
Yeah, definitely. What I admire about that round is not just the win for Team SMG, but the discipline. You can really see the difference in terms of their playstyle this year versus last year, when sometimes they would lose some rounds because they would overheat. But even if they knew that only Haifei was the one remaining with a Bucky, they didn't push for it. There was an
Oh.
opportunity for Camus to push in with a flash, and then Alexi to at least dash in and surprise and give them the element of surprise, but they didn't. It was I think the calls of Tara here for the team, it's really very effective in terms of not just getting the round, but also the economy management, which I think was one of the things that they had to improve on last year.
Yeah, and I feel like For SMG in particular, I mean, last year it always felt like SMG was so close to first place but never quite making it, especially after they went against Alter Ego last year. And now this year, with this remake or the redo of the roster, seems like they have really good timing, really good aggression come through as well without going on that overheat.
Yeah, it's gonna be your advantage, right? If you have a controller that has high awareness when it comes to the map, I think that's gonna really show in terms of all of that strategy. This time, though, they have that operator, but will it give the value that we expected it to be?
Oh, look at this corner. High Faye, play the aggressive, pick your corners. It's not gonna be happening. Just get straight out. One more. Two actually with the up. They get the value. And Rose with a nice cross. Very clean, fast round for GE. They finally take that one round. And looks like whatever they talked about in that timeout is working.
That timeout is gonna be something that they would rely on, and I guess this is something that reflects a little bit of their previous team, right? Global Esports, their core used to be part of Asteria, and whenever Asteria would have their timeouts, it would turn things around. And I guess that's a round that they definitely needed. One that would boost their confidence. Second is to try and regain that composure towards this round. If you're losing 4 rounds in a row, then that's going to be a red flag that they have to wave. But now they have eliminated that. Tara gets the first kill.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I really like the fact that the changes are so dramatic. There's one for one trade. The sprays come out. Good trade. Flash one more time from Kamiyu. Seen her aggression before. Last time on a different team, but this time looks like it's given a lot more support from her teammates as Rose has full control of the A side back line. SMG waiting, biding for time. 2 players lost for each teams. This situation, there is no information. This information denial is leaving GE in a very antsy position. Where do we rotate to? Where do we go? Rose, the only one holding up from Haven. She can get the upper hand when it comes to getting some information coming inside. She knows the information has been relayed. A nice little rotate here from her teammates come through. Muffin Loop late for time. They did hear her coming to the site. No one peeking just yet, but Kamiyu with the spray is so very aggressive. Muffin Loop from one end. Gets Ohibi in the end. Coming in one by one, not doing them any favors as the Aftershock will just push them out, buys more time. I think Shirazi with a good trade. 1 versus 1 in the end of the day. Bit of a ring around the Rosie. Just buy for time. His timing is good. Shirazi just put her in the end, but Muffin Loop will be the one with the last person to have the last say.
Yeah, I was gonna say in terms of the odds, right? It was equal, 3 versus 3. Team SMG, they had the right idea of just waiting. The silence was deafening for Team Global Esports Phoenix, wherein they had to spread out throughout the map. One was in A, one was in B, at least another one close to her. We're watching C-Link. So this is something that they had an advantage to, but GE just had the perfect retake. Their strategy, they had to talk to each other. Remember that 3-second pause before they had to push out? Those communications is going to be very vital for them in order to capture that round and get these rounds against Team SMG.
Aggressive use of utilities once again from GE, just trying to buy time, not allowing them any space on too long. But the thing is, we've noticed this over and over again, is that SMG is just so proactive whenever they take an area of the map. They hold it. Just holding on to lobby, staying away from that owl drone. There's already a denial of information. Now GE, despite the amount of footsteps they heard, they have no part of retreating to. Immediately rolling thunder! Gets them off the side. Alexi already up with the updraft. Has full control. Can see all the way back with the leg side toward heaven. Play inside of hell. A nice little cross with her teammates. But they also have the lockdown to come through just to secure it. Still biding for time. Yeah, the members! Muffin Loop with the updraft. Gets one, but it is going to be traded out. No one pushing in just yet. No detainment either. And there's Kamiyu. Just to buy time from the other side. Shirazi full control of sewers as well, making sure no one will be coming from the backside. Meow 16k dropping in, putting in the gravity well, putting in those smokes that's needed. Cosmic divide as well, just to make sure no one is playing from main, but Shirazi for 2 already. And Terra, look at the 3-way crossfire SMG has.
And those post-plant setups were amazing. Again, with that gravity well. But in combination now of that aftershock from Camu, it just really takes a pause. And at this point, Global Esports, they have to take a deep breath. Think about how they would do these retakes. Yes, they succeeded the previous round. But if you have all of these players together, especially they only had one casualty, Team SMG, they're really set up for the win. And I love that they placed the lockdown because they wanted to secure the round. Ult economy is very high for Team SMG, usually average 6 rounds. Alexi would have already 2 ults. And at this point, they want to use this to their advantage. Keep that lead on top.
Oh!
Here.
Gohaidi does get her leg spotted, but the Algrim does get one in return. Unfortunately, Muffin not able to get any value from that. You have the Hunter's Fury, you had even the fault line to come through. She had to give up that space. Shirazi once again with the lurks, and she has been huge with this. Not sure if she's gonna get caught out. Timing probably not her side. Muffin Loom once again not able to land her shots. Jump peaks from SMG are just a little bit too quick for her. One more time, good reposition. Really just doesn't get it. Tara with that first contact is just huge. Good read with the free fire to come out, and Lexi with the sprays. Nice little smoke criminal prey. Covers up Heaven as well. Not allowing other GE members to even get close to the site. Tara, once again, her smokes, her stars placement have been phenomenal. Good timing, good read. Also great, especially from what we saw from the first round.
I love the difference of the use of that star, right? Sometimes it's a gravity well, sometimes it's the nebula. But either way, it's still great from Tara.
Yeah. See that even though there is a smoke there, they are still trying to push through. That smoke is just not doing them any favors. You have no clue where the other members of SMG are gonna be, and Tara is just so unforgivable. What can you do with the Bucky when you are up against sharpshooters with battles?
Not a great round for Global Esports Phoenix, for sure. I mean, they had the operator in hand, but they lost it because Tara just peeked out. The timing is everything. I think the analyst said this earlier on, right? It has to be the right person at the right time, and for Tara, it was. Taking away that operator, that advantage for Global Esports Phoenix. And at this point, I loved how they pushed towards the site.
They
aren't just running.
Yeah, I wanted to say, the fact that Tara was confident enough to challenge that off is great. That's confidence. Confidence. See? That's Tara with that first pick onto Meow already. She just ran up. Just shot her in the face, and again, she gets away with it. GE has no clue how to punish this aggression. And even if they do take their time, this aggression is always a very explosive play. It really catches GE off guard. Aftershock as well, just clear out the corners as SMG. Lexi, being the spear to tip, pushing up the corner, gets one, gets two. Alexi, are you kidding me?
Last player standing.
What a good play. The tap to come out from Kiri, but no one is there to peek. It's actually playing for the window of the... But it's a clean round overall.
Very, very clean. Flawless as well. Kind of want to see Tara running up, and that's what happened, right? In a sewers, now here towards grass and garage. Getting those first picks, you would usually expect that from a duelist.
Yeah.
But no, it could be anybody else here in Team SMG.
You know what's
and look
funny?
at her kills. She's at
Yeah.
13-3.
I wanted to say is the fact that a lot of these players have played duelists before. I think is really showing in their confidence and gameplay. And that's why I always say I love seeing duelist players sometimes take a step back. High Faye pushing up, still gets tagged by Tara. Insane through that concuss. And sometimes there are actually people saying things like sometimes the concussion gives you aimbot. But you know, it might just be a whole different story. But coming through here, Kohaibi. Not too sure if she actually does spot someone out. Shirazi finds Meow 16k. Get a data swarm grenade will do a lot of value from Shirazi. Love the way that she's using that swarm grenade. Really the aftershock not allowing anyone to get inside of the side. Buy some more time. Muffin Loop trying to get some plays on the top side. Fury for 2 with the Sheriff doing lots of work with that weapon.
Last player
Does get
standing.
destroyed. Kohaibi for one more. Can she still get? She's so very low, but Kohaibi 5 HP doesn't deter her at all.
Yeah, when it comes to the duels, right, I love that you said that most of Team SMG, they're all duelists at first. Shirazi, I think she played a duelist from before, but Cameo is one from her past
Previous
team, right?
So
I
Rocky.
remember one of her plays here in the map of Haven when Phoenix was still part of the meta. She loved playing Phoenix, just using the run it backs each and every round. Because when she does, right, she kills 4. That's 4
Oh, yeah.
orbs.
But sometimes you want to talk about pure good aim duels, and that's exactly what SMGs bring to the table. I mean, you want to talk about utility usage? Yeah, it's great. Timing's good, but sometimes it's all about the timing when you walk into past an op. Being's doing so much value and hiding inside of the area. Is she good for one? No, she's not. Gravity well, not lining up with her regardless. Already pushing through full access through garage, rolling thunder as well just to clear out one area. Meow will find Terra in the end. Lucky as well. Nice full swing. No clue where everyone is. Camille does find Fury to find this recovery, but this is huge. Shirazi once again. It's a little upgrade to the op. And also recalls her turret. Once again, with only 2 players left, they have control of A already. Regardless of where GE wants to go, it's gonna take time for them to find a way inside. Have them holding the op, have those utils as well. Camille still has the Rolling Thunder hotline as well. Used. Still, no movement from GE. Are they gonna save is the question. Nope, it looks like they're trying to try and get inside of the site. The slow and steady for GE might not be the answer, but Meow with the ace! So good! A good recovery from
Let me
GE.
see that. Let me see that clip, guys. Observers, if you can, please do me the honors of viewing that beautiful ace from Meow 16k.
That was so good.
The first 2, right, when she was able to at least get the kills, she repositioned, really steps away from that rolling thunder, and is able to get headshots. Now here, even if Shirazi was able to take that op away, disarm Muffin Loop, Meow 16k, she was persistent. Didn't even use any of her util.
Exactly. We were just talking about pure clean aim. And that was exactly when Meow 16k decided to just come online and still trying to prove me wrong that they can actually do this as well. And Muffin Loop, despite tanking that Nano Swarm, still manages to get picked. Really gotta give it to her for that. She lost half HP, now Alexi goes down in the end. Little bit of kiss from the 2 Owl drones. Passes by each other. Unfortunately, none gets the tag, but does get the information that they need. No movement yet from GE. Really liking the idea that for SMG, they are the type of team who are flexible enough to change sites.
Yeah, and they're looking for the opportunity, and Tara was detected by that alarm bot, though. 3 versus 5, right? You mentioned the damage taken by Muffin Loop, but she still gets 2. So that's a great trade and a great investment for this operator, but Tara has to find the timing. She does.
Tiny little micro pixel she used with that. She already has the cosmic divide once again. Shout. Kiri still waiting inside the corner. There's out just yet. Kohaibi, are you gonna check the counter? Is the question. Kiri with a good position, a shoot out, but a double swing from SMG is allowing her to deny that plant. Terra had so much space in her pocket. Finally does go a little bit too aggressive, and Muffin, sorry, Meow will just bring her down. 2 versus 2. Kohaibi is close with her teammate.
Last player
Answer.
standing.
Across the divide as Muffin Loop does get one more. The blades are out. The right click with the 4K in GE. Ace and a 4K at the same time. So very close.
And this is what we want to see from Global Esports, right? When it comes to the analyst questions, they asked about who can have the better firepower during attack. And I think we saw that from Team SMG. But when it comes to the adjustments, right, especially for Muffin Loop's operator, she did so well when it comes to these decisions. She knew when to hold angles. She knew when to actually be aggressive with this Blade Storm. Perfect response to Kohaibi.
I like the fact that SMG is really trying to play aggressive, but let's see what the panel thinks about these two teams.
Whew. I mean, 8-4, especially coming after the 3-0 start from SMG. When it got to the 8-2 mark, it looked like SMG were on a roll, but then the GE comeback Meow 16K with that round 11 ace, and then to bring things to 8-4, we said Haven probably going to be attacker sided, but what do we think? Do we think GE Phoenix can overcome this round difference after they switch sides?
Absolutely, and I feel like the more superstitious folk would be like, oh, they should have just let the 9-3 curse do its thing. Well, guys, again, the round differential is super, super important. If they take that pistol, they are going to be one swing away from equalizing everything. But I feel like the biggest difference between both these teams is that SMG was just that much more assertive, especially with the space they occupy, and outright much more decisive. There was no real hesitation. And G, they did remain undeterred, as the casters mentioned. With some rounds, they were really hyper-focused on trying to take aggressive space first, so SMG would adjust, but I feel like that pivotal first duel has been so elusive, and that's been providing so many problems. And I mean, everybody in SMG is fragging out. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, these girls are just straight on fire, coming out of the gate so strong as well. And it's great that you mentioned that, because I wanted to actually pick your brain a bit in the minute or so that we have left and ask you about this, because, you know, it seemed as if Global Esports Phoenix had a bit of a slow start, but then started to like get that warm up out of the way, get their cold fingers out of the way. Do you think that that's what we're seeing? And do you think it's sort of like a building momentum into the switch? What do you think?
Absolutely, and it's a great time to do so. They are going to be on the stronger side of things, and as we saw in those retakes, there were a lot of moments where GE really shined with their strengths. It was the speed of their trading. It's just, I feel like the utility use on the side of SMG is that much quicker. Once again, the no hesitation is just providing so many problems, but it is something they can overcome.
All right, guys, with that, we are going to hand it back over to our casters, Donut and Tash, for the second half of map number 1. Ladies, take it away.
Welcome back, everyone, and this is the Valorant Game Changers Asia Pacific Series 2023, and we are down to our second half. Aggression already happening here from the two teams. Look how fast they are! Terra trying to play aggressive, trying to punish them for it. Nice good trade from both teams here. As the aftershock fills them out away, Shirazi tanks that, gets one, but Rose was going to swing out to find Shirazi in the end.
And this is something that we want to see right around for Global Esports Phoenix. They already have the site response here with all of that utility.
Oh my god,
Kamiyuki
pushing out! Ooh, really liking this proactive plays coming in here from SMG. But GE is the one that will punish them, but we know that pros don't think immediately push out. The shot's coming through, and Lexi gets one more. Still, Lexi is 70 HP, still has a teammate. Now gets one more shot. They do get a defuse, and Lexi gets the win and the kill.
And this has got to be something that Global Esports Phoenix should have won, right? I mean, at this round, Shirazi did tank a lot of that damage from the utility. She was able to get 2 before she went down. And with that Tamiyu push here, ensuring though Alexi, she wins these duels, right? Especially with a Sheriff. When you buy a Sheriff during the first round, even if you pick it up, you want to make sure you get the kills. And Alexi's that type of player that converts.
It's a very interesting first round. How aggressive both teams are. Alexi, she does not miss. Drops down the spike. Gets a good reposition. Pushes up. They want to take all of this space. The gravity well is taking her out of the way. She updrafts. Hasn't gone down quite yet. Alexi, how are you still alive? The teammate is there. With her little cover. Nice position. Nothing loop gets her in the end. Alexi has been very slippery. Life cut shot though. Hybe forced to play a little bit back. No clue where exactly ever be pushing out here as Terra finds Hybe. Hybe with the push. Finds Muffin Loop at the same time. I would say the default play from GE is just causing them to get picked off one by one because it's really hard to pinpoint where exactly the other members of SMG are. Despite Shirazi not being on the site, her butt was there. Feeds her enough information. No plant just yet. Rose pushing out here. Little bit too high. Nice flick down. Still one more time with the Guardian. Shirazi is doing such a good job.
Yeah, when it comes to her being an anchor, right? We saw her play last year as a controller. This time, she's a killjoy, but she does so well when it comes to her utilities. She just waits. Alarm bells were ringing for her, and she didn't even have to wait for the rest of her teammates. Of course, Tara is going to be behind her, which makes her more confident in order to take on that duel. And given those 2 rounds, right, the lead has now extended to a 10-4. And this is going to be rough now for Global Esports Phoenix to try and climb. We always mention that when it comes to the gap, right, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Oh yeah.
And if Global Esports takes it slow, this might be Team SMG's win already. They have to come up with something during this timeout. And maybe it could be the old glory days of Asteria, wherein they have a timeout, they make it happen, and then they execute all of those insights. But at this point, Team SMG with that aggression, with Shirazi, with that quick pull of that mouse to get that headshot, just goes to show firepower, check. Discipline, check. Aggression, check.
I gotta give it to Coach Pekafal. I mean, every season, it's always been so good for SMG and how they play, and aggression is just so calculated. I would say calculated chaos would be the right word here. And I think what's most interesting is the fact that for GE, they do have some pretty dramatic changes after each timeout, at least from what we saw last round all the way till now, or last half rather. But it seems like for SMG, I would say that the reposition, the reads are just so good as Alexi. That push out gets a lot of value. Shirazi gets Guantara as well. Good trade here from High Bay as well as Kiri. Push out. Despite the gun differential, they still manage to get those picks. Alexi once again. The aggressive buys give her a lot of value. Rushing onto site. Nice little updraft just to see the back of sight. No one there quite yet. Once again, spots out. High Bay gets her. That's not enough to save the round though.
Yeah, not enough. Those kills though were very valuable to them, but at this point, Team SMG, they've already stacked up a lot of credits to buy for this round. They've even managed to pick up Alexi's Vandal, which she used to try and stop the plant. They thought they were already comfortable sitting on C trying to plant the spike, but nope. Alexi's timing is impeccable. It's always great to see Alexi try and be decisive within this map. And now it's going to be a timeout for Team SMG. They probably are discussing how they're able to close this out. With this big of a gap, I feel like it's going to be rolling over for Team SMG.
And for SMG, I'm really liking the fact that it's sort of like a flip now. How GE is playing aggressive, and they've been getting picks onto SMG. And the aggression, yeah, I mean, for Alexi, those pickoffs were huge early. But the fact of the matter is, this ball play from GE is kind of smart. They know how exactly to deceive, and by separating each member of SMG, they're able to force them into those duels, where they have, I would say, a higher chance of winning compared to the 3 girls with high firepower pointing onto a side at once.
Yeah, that's going to be something hard to counter, right? Even for the retakes, for the defense. If you see a crossfire between Shirazi and Tara, you know that's going to be a deadly combo. What more for the retakes wherein you have 5 of them coming forward, dashing in, throwing in all of these utilities. It's going to be something hard to counter. And with Alexi's operator now into play, this is going to be quite a hard round, not unless GE, they just push quietly. They just seek information first before they move, before they pounce.
Quiet. It's gonna be a beat. Not sure yet, but if they have full control of links at the same time. They are free to go to C and A if they want to. There's only one person on the backside. It's only going to be Camille holding on, hasn't moved at all or shown her positioning from Gong. Muffin Loop is checking over and over again because they did make moves. And in case SMG comes in with a crossfire, and we know that SMG's crossfires is one of their major strengths. Hyde is here to provide that support. Immediately they rush onto the side. Smokes come out. Camille with a nice little push onto Muffin Loop. Will punish her. Hyde does find Tara in the end. Firepower out. GE pushes out to her C as Hyde does off there by Shirazi. This aggressive plays with the Guardian from Shirazi. And this weapon has a lot of value. Give that. Lexi. Nice pick with that op. Silence comes down again. Only now, last person left alive. That turret does spot her out. You want to go for the plant if possible. She does not have the turret near, sorry, the spike near her at all whatsoever. Gets that recon, and Alexi with a push out. Shuts it off, and they go to match point.
This was a great round for them. I think especially for Shirazi. She was just waiting for little Beanie just seen. But when there were the teammates behind her back, she just pushed forward. You wouldn't really imagine these multiple kills. She hasn't even dropped that gun, except for when she picked up a Vandal from Global Esports Phoenix. But you can really see the skill level is very high for the rest of Team SMG. For your information, they were 6-0 in groups. They were undefeated, and they even challenged the former champions of FSL Elite, Game Changers Elite.
See that Recon actually got PP. All the information they need. Look at Camille already pushing forward. It's a very aggressive position she has taken. Liking the fact that High Fate is very understanding that to watch the backline and place their alerts, but it's very rare that we've seen SMG actually go for alerts. They prefer to play together. Nice little trade there from Muffin Loop and Camille. At least, but Alexi still holding the line. Gets one pick there. Updrafts to get some information. No one there quite yet. She does have the blades if she wants to go aggressive. That's the whole idea of why exactly she wants to play on too long. Also has a shorty in hand. She can just dash forward and switch to that if she wants to. And now, as the noise quiets down, this is the question for GE. Already lost 2. 1 initiator and 1 duelist. Getting onto the site is gonna be a major problem.
Big one. Really, she's stuck there. She doesn't know if there's an operator, though. So that's why she is just waiting. She can easily switch to a judge if ever there is close contact with Alexi. But she's just waiting. She's also very worried that there might be the operator here. And now the smokes come in.
They're rushing through. Cosmic Divide is out as well. 13 seconds to go. Rush forward, but look at this. 4 actually. Alexi ending the first map with style. 13-4 in favor of SMG.
When we said that Team SMG would win this out, we did not expect to see that, right? That high of a gap in terms of the score, that aggression, multi-kills here and there for Alexi, for Shirazi. Of course, the ace from Meow 16, that's something that we should be taking note of. Maybe it's just their first game jitters in this playoffs, but they still have a chance, right? They will have the chance to go through the lower brackets against other, of course, talented teams.
Yeah, if you see them, they do have a gameplay in mind. They have an idea on how exactly to counter. Every single tactical pause is actually met with a different sort of strat, different sort of momentum and gameplay. But the problem now, in my opinion, is that SMG held the momentum of the entire game. They were really, really forcing the rounds. They knew when exactly to stop the aggression. They knew exactly when to change up their gameplay and game style. Yes, they are punished at times, but these micro changes that the team does has been very, very good. A lot of situations as well. Yeah, we expect them. I think in previous seasons, I think SMG has had this problem where they go a little bit too aggressive, especially when taking up that space on Link, especially on attack side, and they were punished for it. This time around, it's as though they had a little lie. They said, okay, you will push until here and you will not move. And also another thing I've noticed for SMG as well is because they understand the fact that strength numbers. Nice little 3-way crossfires to come through, a good hold to the area, and it makes it so hard for GE to even take the site or even defend it.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard, right? Especially if we go to Pearl, where all of these crossfires are gonna be harder to try and control. And I guess Team SMG, they won Haven. This was their map pick, but is there a chance for them to redeem themselves in the map of Pearl? Well, first, I'm gonna throw that question back to our host and analyst, Raf and Rayrachu. Let me hear your thoughts.
Thank you, Donut and Tash. What a map number 1. I mean, we saw some glimmers of hope from GE Phoenix, but ultimately just not enough to go up against the absolute fire cannons of Team SMG. Raf, you mentioned that coming out of the half, if GE won that pistol round, they could super easily turn that 4-8 into a 6-8. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. What do you think went wrong after the switch?
One thing that I feel like I didn't stress enough during that
You're muted.
halftime analysis. Oh, there I am. Okay, guys. No, I was not. I was doing a little magic trick. You know, I'm a very good ventriloquist. If you think that you were hearing my voice, that was another talent of mine. But again, we move it back, and I feel like I didn't stress it enough during my halftime analysis. Is that SMG is so good at hinging off that pistol momentum, and the way that they dominate their bonus round per se is something that we really see at the higher echelons of play. It's either they make it incredibly damaging to the economy or they outright steal it away, and just the margin for error that they allow is just so small that they have to really buckle up for that second map.
Yeah, and talking about that second map, right? Because it's going to be Pearl as well, another very big map, I think, and kind of a map that I want to say favors the SMG play style also. So that's going to be a very exciting, dicey one that we'll check out later. I think we are going to take a look at some of the highlights from map number 1.
Ooh.
Sheesh.
Are there any, is there any statistic that surprises you here? Because we did talk about the fragging power all across for SMG, right? But to actually see them pop off in unison is something else.
Yeah, I agree. And Tash also mentioned at the start of map 1 as well, right? That is so nice and so refreshing to see Kohaibi playing that Sova. Just the combination of her setting up for Alexi on that jet. I mean, we all like to look at flashy duelists play. We like to see them get those multi-frags. But sometimes you watch that and you forget that there is a team behind them that enables those numbers and those kills too. I think SMG, the question that we had coming into map number 1, right, was how cohesively this team could play together, and I think they've definitely shown us that they've had a bit of time to mesh well.
They have, and they've made the most of it. Meanwhile, GE, they do have some woes that they really have to iron out moving forward with the series, but maybe, just maybe, going on into the second map is going to be their fire starter, you know, because I feel like the pace of Haven and Pearl are just so wildly different. Pearl is such a slow map, and it's so incredibly control heavy that maybe this is going to benefit G. But wow, again, we take a gander at the highlights, and we just saw shot after shot land for basically every one of our players here.
Yeah, is this gonna be the Meow 16K? So this is her 3rd kill. Yep, and then she gets the 4th, and yep. I think it's later. No, okay, they swapped it. I wanted to see her ace again, but it's gonna be the Alexi closeout over at match point, which also was very impressive. I feel like whenever I see in Game Changers in APAC, especially when I watch these girls just get frag out their lives, it's just such an honor and a pleasure to be able to just be in our position and watch them and just appreciate how good and how cracked that these girls are. We have a little MVP graphic for you, but I'm not sure we have. Oh, they're gonna show it. They're gonna surprise us. It's gonna be Alexi, man. I feel like they tease this at the end of the highlights. Also, by closing out with that the Alexi 3K, but definitely very well deserved 328 ACS as well. 6.7 headshot percentage in an official match is actually pretty bonkers. I mean, if you're pushing 40% headshot percentage in any type of game, that's kind of the ideal standard that you want to be at. So, props to Alexi, man.
Absolutely. She's been robotic. And one thing that I can also anchor upon in that last round where, again, the big closeout happened is that how comfortable SMG is to play around utility that isn't even theirs. There's no sign of panic. They have their protocol set in place. So aside from just the players being absolutely wonderful, the support staff has done such a great job of just instilling all these, like I said, intangibles into these players and just to play their game.
I agree. And with that, guys, we are going to go for a very short break before we come back for map number 2 of G Phoenix versus SMG. It's going to be Pearl. It's going to be good. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you in just a bit. Hi guys, welcome back to the VCT Game Changers APAC Series Open 1. We're about ready to head into map number 2 between GE Phoenix and SMG after a pretty clean 13-4 performance from SMG on Haven in that map number 1. This time around, it is going to be Pearl. We've had a bit of a discussion, about like how we feel SMG is going to do on Pearl compared to Haven. The short story is, we think they're also going to do pretty good, but like Raph, just break it down for us.
Once again, that slight regional bias is showing. I'm just saying, but of course we go back into we go back into the game, right? And I feel like this is a test of flexibility on both ends for GE and of course Team SMG, because the pace is going to be so completely different and the approach of the map is going to be turned on its head. I'm interested to see if we're going to go for a double controller setup, which we've seen time and time again, especially on Pearl. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the meta for Pearl as well. I know like when Pearl first came out, we saw a lot more creativity, and that's the sort of thing that you see with like new maps. Like right now, Lotus, right? I feel like there hasn't also been one meta that has settled down for Lotus just yet. There's still like a lot of options, but for Pearl, I think we would be able to see the double controller. I think Viper, maybe some of the teams would probably want to play that as well. So it'll be interesting. I think also, if you noticed, the decider, if this does go to map 3, will be on Split, which I feel will kind of be like a bit of a slower pace, slowing down the series after like Haven and after what we're expecting to be that action-packed Pearl. But what do you think based off of like, what we know about these girls and the sort of compositions that they're used to playing?
Once again,
there might be Reyna though. Actually, there might be some hope for your Reyna on Pearl. Actually,
some hope for my Reyna. Ouch! It's okay. I understand completely. My bad. But going back to my point earlier is that the flexibility is truly something that has to be displayed, and SMG, despite the huge round differential that they did upon GEG, I hope they still keep that momentum, because statistically speaking, none of the stats that were reported to us have lied to us so far. And we really need to see that dominance on the side of G. Again, we know what kind of force they are packing, and we are just honestly really excited to see them pop off too, because once again, all of these players just have that potential to do so. And a map like Pearl might just be the taste that will basically reinvigorate all of our players.
Yeah, I agree. And it wasn't as if like, if you're just looking purely at the scoreline 13-4, it does look like a pretty big shutout from the side of SMG. But just looking at the first half, the second half of the first half of map number 1 was where we saw GE Phoenix just start to pick up speed. It was when we saw those like glimmers of hope, the potential from this team. And I think, we saw a bunch of criticism in chat. And I think that what we really need to remember, of course, is that this is open number 1. Global Esports are taking such a big risk this time around with that full Indian squad. And also, a couple of the players on the team, like we talk about Muffin Loop and also Meow 16K, right? They're pretty much the stars, the anchors of this team, and they're kind of like the veterans who are showing some of the newer players the ropes. Coming out of the gate open 1, you don't expect them to have all the kinks just straightened out of their armor just yet, and I think it's something that hopefully we'll be able to see, right? Just not even their growth throughout Game Changers, but even their growth from map 1 to potentially map 2.
That is true. And like we said, right, that we've said many times on broadcast before, even though these players do make mistakes on the grandest of stage, you put them in any random server with people that aren't playing on their level, they will absolutely go 40-0. So I feel like that has to be a quick reminder for chat. I feel like that's I don't know about that one though, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like that has to be
Just
a quick
me.
reminder. So, with that being said, and with all our thoughts being laid bare, we are gonna be jumping right into our agent select.
You know what? I'm sold on this. I'm sold on this new map cam that we've got where we're like
It's
just
cool.
taking a little, that tour through the map. So no lock-ins just yet, but already vastly different agent composition from that map number 1. Wow. And let's see on Jet. I mean, that's pretty expected. Meow 16K on her
Ooh.
signature raise this time around is absolutely hype. Kohibi? Wait, double duelist? No. I mean, yes, but wow. Raise for Kohibi and Reyna for Alexi. They're feeling themselves after map number 1. Not gonna lie, this looks like that confidence pickup. Chamber also being run from SMG, but KO on the side of GE Phoenix. What do we think?
I like it a lot. Remember the 2 agents that I wanted to see? This is exactly what I wanted. And like you mentioned, it is a little bit of a heat check, but man, it's got me excited. But on the strategic side of things, I feel like it is a really interesting choice to not go double controller, especially when you are trying to splice up this map and isolate as many angles as you can to have a safer approach, especially on B long where it's super long and that chamber is gonna absolutely tear you up if you allow her to do so. So with everything being said and done, I'm just so excited to get into it.
Yeah, I think that they picked a very good composition where they're good on attack and they're potentially also very good on offense. So I'm hyped to get into game. I'm sure all of you guys are watching just want to see the action. Of course, we've got Donut and Tash Bunny waiting in the wings to bring you guys the game. Ladies, all ears on you.
Thank you very much, Rayra and Raf. As we go into map number 2, Pearl, the name of the game is Control, but aggression is still what SMG wants to bring to the table. I've seen a composition before, not the same composition, but a double duelist, rather with Arena and a Jet prior from Bleed Esports from Malaysia, Singapore. I'm curious to know what exactly is on their mind for this particular comp.
I think Raph made a great point wherein you choose a double controller composition if you would want to be more reserved. You want to cover all of these angles, but now with just 1 controller and 2 duelists, I guess they are going to be ready for that aggression. They want to peek out as much as possible. They want to take advantage of all of this. And now 16 with this attack, she dashes in forward, but gets the first kill.
Yeah, that's a very aggressive take from mid link here. She just took control of the whole area and a nice smoke on the other side, but Shirazi letting get 1 each. You take 1 from SMG and they take 2 out of the way. GES get 2 more here with on Hyphay. Playing close. Trying to find 1 more member. Nice little tap there from Shirazi. We'll take 1 more out. She still has to worry about another 2 more players. Regardless, Meow still very healthy. 100 HP, full shields, rather half shield at this point. The idea is to go for picks as much as they can. This situation for GE, yes, going for picks is good. It's given them a lot of value. But this situation kind of very separated from the teammate. Bit dangerous game here if you think about it.
Yeah, it's going to be surrounding them, but it depends on the position. It depends on the timing. It could be Team
30
SMG
seconds
surrounding
left.
them this time. But I guess they're just waiting for any movement, for any sign of that plant of the spike before they actually
all
just
with
move
their
forward.
side. Look at that. Timing. Talk about timing. Pass by each other. It's insane.
And well, with all of that, now the question is, where will the post plants be? One is up top, another one down. But I guess this isn't really the best scenario given where the plant is at the moment. So Shirazi is going to be using that TP just to make sure that they are safe. Tara
Last
is the
player
one
standing.
hunting first, and Kiri gets the
One
first
enemy
kill.
remaining.
Tara
Ooh,
with a one-shot. Shirazi, probably a 4K, but Kiri is the one to get the kill.
It's just the rate of fire of the gun. It's just a little bit better on that ghost, but you have to really give it to Meow for taking this whole entire link. Now, during VCT lock-in, a lot of the teams were going for that control on main, whether it be A or B. But for this tournament in particular, at least for this game, for GE, their ideal play is to take full control of it. Once you take full control, you go pick up by 1 entire map.
And this is what we want to see, right? In terms of splitting up, in order for you to be successful in that, is you have to win the duels.
They
And
really
this
have
time,
to.
in terms of that defense, they push forward. What do you think about this, Tash?
How is that spray not punishing her? Alexi, even through that Kunkka, still gets tapped onto the hit. Can she go for one more? Not quite. The utils will look too much for her to
Spike
handle.
down
Now the
mid.
spray comes in here.
One
He nearly takes
enemy
one more
remaining.
out of the way. SMG, though, still managing to take away 3 guns from GE. Despite this being the round where they are at a gun deficit. Spike.
There are no more bullets to that headhunter, though, so
Teleport's ready.
Jirazi is going to be stuck with a spike. Not unless she does pick up either a sheriff or that frenzy. Spotted out by that turret. Now the rotations come in. That's a great response for Global Esports. They will plant B again this time, not unless Shirazi actually races them to it.
Shirazi is good at those aims. Clean, good aim. But the problem now, I mean, to be fair, GE is playing so far away from each other. If timing is on her side, she's gonna be able to go for those isolated 1v1s.
30
No,
seconds
that's not
left.
the case any longer. She is trying to make some more time
Spike
come through.
planted.
They are looking the wrong way. She spots out the gun barrel. Just has to reposition. They hear the footsteps. Shirazi, where are you gonna go? They're gonna be playing for long here. Where are you looking? That turret did save her life. No taps quite yet getting there. 2 bullets in the barrel. 1 more goes for the reload. Still, she's able to go for the isolate fight. That's good. The pillar can give her that value. Unfortunately, not on her side. As Haifei with the better gun gonna get the tap onto her head.
It was looking like a 1v3 at that point, right? With a turret
Oh yeah.
peeking out with them. One hiding behind the pillar, and Haifei with that very, very wide angle. Haifei was able to get the headshot, but what was notable there is Team SMG taking down 3 guns away from G Phoenix. So that leaves now the rest of the members, the rest of these ladies with a Sheriff and a Spectre. Not necessarily the best possible buy against the full of Team SMG, but they have to make the most out of it.
Yeah, and Muffin Loop only has half shields. Not over for that. But SMG, we know that in this situation, they can make value from it. But given the way that GE is playing, they do need to be careful. They go for those aggressive picks. Now, the idea of them taking full control of long is because they have the better guns. They can go for these long-range fights if they want to. Meow, despite the fact of only having a Spectre, she can just play straight in your face like she did in the previous round. Regardless, that smoke, just gonna wait for it to dissipate. They don't really have a hard intel initiator like a Sova to get onto the site. But once this smoke goes down, the idea is to go and play as explosively as they can. No movement quite yet. Thinks about clearing out the center, the area. Here we go. Jumps on the spike. Has full control of the area. Meow may have gotten a kill onto Shirazi. Kamiyu does find Meow. 60k at the end. Has been looped with a good trade. Finds Kamiyu. Still 3 on 4 situation. Plant comes out. Kohaibi just waiting and fighting for time. Whatever tickets for the nice little rotate. Lear comes out. Unfortunately, not getting the timing right, but I do get 1 pick from that nice little overheal as well for the nice reset. There's Rosie. 2 different areas. Alexi finds Muffin Loop in the end. She pops off her ultimate. Only Kiri to play. And look at Kohaibi just holding. Hasn't moved at all an inch.
Last
Buying
player
time
standing.
central on one side. Haifei finds Alexi in the end. Kohaibi pushing out here. She has to take this fight. No
enemy
bullets
remaining.
hitting. Gets her in the end. Haifei, what are you gonna do here? Kohaibi is so very low. She hears the footsteps. Here's the defuse. But Haifei's picks. So good wallbang.
That's a great way. If you don't want Kohaibi to peek at you, I'll just hide behind this pillar and just wall bang that kill away. I mean, I was just so surprised and very
enemy
speechless
remaining.
about that play. Haifei actually won that round because of the flank. We mentioned timing is everything, and timing for that spray through that pillar also got them that 3-0. And I guess earlier on, the first game was a mirror matchup. I guess it's also a mirror with what's happening now. GE picked this map for a reason, and they're getting all of these rounds because of their splits, because of how methodic they are when it comes to the map. But let's see. Maybe Team SMG, they have a response.
Yeah, SMG losing their bonus is quite frustrating for them, especially given the fact of how exactly GE plays. They're so good with those picks, getting them out one by one. And we talked about how SMG's strength is in numbers, and GE is playing the playbook where we pick as many as possible as we can. Alexi, where are you looking? Was not expecting the push from GE. GE's aggression will be heavily rewarded in this situation. Kohabi with the taps this time. Ending her shot to space from the top, and Meow still gets one more. Nade, a secret. Full control of the backside as well. Meow pops that showstopper. Unfortunately, swaps out. Timing not on her side. A bit too aggressive. Regardless, Kamiyu now for the hold. It's SMG needs to find a way onto the site. They have that trademark as well in case someone decides to push out. They're understanding the fact that GE loves playing close.
Yeah, they're gonna be ready with a flash as well once that there is a sound. Flash comes in and he comes out.
Yeah, here we go.
Actually spots out Kamiyu.
Push out by Kamiyu to come out. They know that Drones is on one side. Kyrie as well as Hype. Nice little crossfire. Good teamwork from GE. And looks like the team has finally come online.
Definitely online. This is something that we didn't really expect for Pearl. Tara already had the shot, right? But she was able to get one with a utility, another one with that spray. Fortunately overheated, even with a showstopper, that rocket didn't get a kill.
Did she
no
pop
information, just really... She used it, but she
swapped.
did not.
Yeah, she swapped, and I'm curious as to why that happened.
This is maybe the challenge for Global Esports' roster. I mean, sorry, not roster. Their composition. You know why? Because they don't necessarily have that very active information-seeking agent. They do have the KO, but there's no way of knowing, right? You can't just keep on guessing through sound cues, through, of course, these taps on the spikes, in order for you to use that utility. But I think that's not going to be enough for you to make guesstimates of where they should be.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Honestly, I was a bit surprised at Shirazi's pick for Chamber. I mean, the only time I've seen a good Chamber play was on Ye during lock-in. And I think that was the only time I actually liked seeing a Chamber. Because we know that the nerfs have been pretty heavy. Which is why I would prefer seeing a Killjoy over the Chamber and what Shirazi is using. Regardless, because SMG is on the defense, I think the idea for them is to play as aggressively as they can get those picks. But the thing is, as Alexi and Kohabi are playing aggressive, they're getting picked off one by one. Because the way GE is playing here is that they are just waiting for the aggression to come through and they just punish and then go for the kills. But immediately the null command comes out. That's Muffin Loop with the flash out. Immediately comes through. Push out. Kohabi doesn't get her in the end. Nice spray with the gravity well. Doing so much damage to the team. The destroy on the barrier was too strong. Shirazi going crazy. And she challenged that lockdown.
This is just
While the rest of the members, I think two actually played back away from that circle.
Spike down A.
But she did not back down with the Spectre, right? She didn't even get to use her ultimate. She just used the Spectre. Sprayed them away, and in perfect timing, when the lockdown blew up, she got all of the kills. Now, this is an amazing way for you to win a round, not being afraid of the ultimates, because GE's composition, they're very utility heavy. Once you're not afraid of those utilities, now you get to shine.
Oh, yeah. That was just so good. Shirazi just held her ground. She was not afraid of taking up that space. She knew what she had to hold. And she knew that she had to buy as much time as possible from her teammates, because remember, SMG had so much trouble playing post plant. So what did she decide to do? Buy time. Do not allow that plant to happen until her teammates came by. And Shirazi, once again, this is confidence. She's playing so aggressively. She can't teleport away. She gets a kill. Nice little reset. Astera gets one more at the same time. Boombot just to clear out main. Nice little pain shield as well, just to buy time. Not allowing to move straight into A at the same time. Art side, we have Hype. Those shots, it's all the information SMG needs.
Hyphae
Right
has to
there.
back away at this point. They
Right
know
there.
not where to rotate at this moment. They use this concuss, but it might not bring them any good. The stun was amazing, but there was no follow-through. That may be the case for GE Phoenix. If you use your utility, even if it is
30
scarce,
seconds
right?
left.
It refreshes, but you have to maximize it the way that you can.
Yeah, a little bit more passive for them in this round. I was really liking the aggression from them just now. Wondering what changed. Regardless,
Now they have to wait.
yeah.
15 seconds?
Oh, they're running out of
Did
time
they just
here.
save?
I'm wondering if they are. They lost too many
10
players
seconds
as Hi-Fi playing the sneaky lurk. Will fight Shirazi. At least it's still one more gun out of the way. And look at this, rotates from SMG. They're suspecting an A push here. And this has always been the thing. The reads, right? Feels like for the reads for SMG, whenever they think there's going to be an A hit, they go B. And it was open for them, but I think that at that situation, GE just doesn't want to risk it.
Yeah, no risks that they had
One
to take
second,
there.
please. I gotta
They
visit
still
the
have the
Astros
lead,
to
right?
play
If they
some
lose 1
stars.
point, we're fine with 4-2, but we need to keep these guns because at this point, half armor for 3 of their players. The Cosmic Divide might make all of the difference for this round. If they use this well, if they maximize its potential, then they may be able to get that plant down. But the only challenge is, it's going to be Alexi here waiting for them, together with Tara.
Again, slow plays, but they already know that it's gonna be a B-long push. Nice. Just clear out this tide of health. They do wallbang onto screens, but no one has actually hit Alexi at all, and there's so many smokes here. It's really hard to really figure out where exactly Alexi is gonna reposition to, or even where Alexi is. Regardless, the smokes do go down eventually, and Alexi pop and swing so good. And Nightfall comes through, gives them all the information they need. Prowler as well, just to chase them out of the sight. An overheal from Lexi, but Shirazi is there to pick off Hi-Fi in the end. Rose wants to come through. Mark indicates it's gonna be a little bit hard to push onto the site. And GE's push has been completely stopped. And this is where they have to really take time to figure out whether or not they want to push out here. And for SMG, they are looking to fight. They're looking to push out of the way. Shirazi onto Link. She's holding, looking for anyone. Any stragglers in the mid rotate, but it looks like A is
30
going to be hit
seconds
the end.
left.
Wow.
Could be, but they're taking a lot of time for this rotation to come in. Look at Team SMG, the mini-map. It's all now swarmed by the ladies of SMG. And if they are to go back to, rotate back to A, then they've already missed the opportunity. It is going to be
10
another
seconds
save
left.
for GE this time.
Oh man. I mean, the question begs here is how many rounds in a row are you going to give to SMG? Given the fact that SMG's aggression can kind of be snowballed due to the momentum, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, the momentum was theirs. They just lost it. They lost grasp of that rope and then they gave it back to SMG. Now 3 rounds for Team SMG with all of these kills. No plants just yet. No retakes for Team SMG. It's just mere giving that round up for you to have a better economy for the next. But I think you asked a good question. How many times will you save and give up to Team SMG when in fact they are heavy on the heat? If they get the momentum, they really, really take it.
Yeah, it's already... Yeah, GE had a nice lead just now, but SMG is just slowly crawling their way up. Speaking of that, look at the aggression from Muffin Loop for 2! Finds SMG one by one. Nice spray. Muffin Loop has all the value in the world, regardless from Meow. You know that Meow 16K, she's been so phenomenal with taking control of this mid-link area. But no aggressive pushes just yet, waiting to play off any information they can get.
Yep, they slow down. But this time, they make it more decisive to go to B. Smoke comes in, just in case there is an operator. But it's already been taken down by GE. Now Lexi's gonna be the sole defender of the site. They throw in all of this utility, but misses Alexi. Now she's just waiting for that.
I can't believe
time
it.
to push.
Nice little reposition from her. She gets one, a nice dismiss, gets one more, sprays out 2.
enemy
Another
remaining.
dismiss, make it 3. A lot of value coming you in the back to provide some support. So it's so good. And did you see that reposition? Alexi plays around the main area here. And she knows that they know she was behind screen, so she repositions to the other side.
My god, if you can see my facial expression right now, I really am showing a lot of surprise towards Lexi. That play was nasty, and I think this is what Raph mentioned during the desk. He wanted to see a Reyna pop off, And no better player to actually do that than Alexi.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've seen how she plays. She's a very aggressive player. She likes to take. She can go, and she's. I would say that she is an unstoppable, and unmovable force, and she's been getting a lot of value. Shirazi and Kiyomiyu one more. Philip does get that trade. 2 for 1, not the worst in the world. But this begs the question because every time they seem to be at a deficit, we see GE go for that save. Oh, Alexi pushes out. Nice pick onto Kiri as well. Not punished.
Just backs away. Timing for them.
Oh my
round,
god.
But Shirazi with that operator, she's been on point. Did lose the duel last round, but this time, not yet. SMG, they take 5. GE showed us a phenomenal series of rounds earlier. 4-0. You wouldn't really think that that was possible against Team SMG, but the weight is in favor of Team SMG. The positioning, how they respond to these rounds, the discipline of Alexi during the 8th round wherein she used all of her utilities and timing. And now, if they are going to go aggressive in mid, they have to just really displace them with utilities at first, right?
Yeah.
GE, they haven't really been doing that. They just peek out dry.
Yeah, it was just very interesting. We asked about the follow-ups to those utilities. Where are the flashes coming out and them swinging in? And because they're peeking so aggressively that way, Alexi has managed to get 2-3 picks. Sometimes you see Shirazi with the op as well. And I think because Shirazi, she hasn't really moved from when she was holding. It's always been the same place. And it feels like GE hasn't been taking note of this. Either they're not taking note or they're still trying to challenge her. Regardless, Shirazi, you really got to give it to her from SMG because the idea from GE in the beginning was to play default, and then now because they're not able to, they played from main, it didn't work out. They played default, it didn't work out. What other plans can they do? What other page for the playbook do they have? Because the way they've been playing is very reminiscent to a European style or EU style gameplay.
Yeah, but that's easily read here by Team SMG. Okay, you play default on us, then we break that default. We do something unconventional, something special that will catch you guys off guard. And this play for A main control isn't something that GE wants to respond to. They are currently at mid, but there's nobody there, but they will come knocking.
This is the idea of how they wanted to play. Because it's a double duelist comp for SMG, and the idea is to go as aggressive as they can. They weren't able to do that early. But the Boombot clearing out the area, Alexi still holding her ground, Gravity well as well, just to clear out by time. And this is what we talked about in terms of information, that communication come through. Alexi hears that Boombot immediately. You can see the wells popped out. Clears out the corner with the aftershock. The Lear comes out and Alexi punishes Muffin Loop for that follow-up. Another one at the same time. Another! Can she go for 3? It's a question here, not quite. Gravity well will stop her. But Shirazi does find Kiri in the end. 3 at mid, 2 already picked out here. Immediately go Hy-Vee and her teammates on the other side. They find Hy-Vee. And Hy-Vee was trying to make things happen. Unfortunately, SMG stops it.
Yeah, it was just about the position. Even if Alexi was, well, I couldn't really say struggling, right? But there were a lot of players walking through that door, really greeting her, but she said hello. She said goodbye through that dismiss. And Shirazi didn't even move a muscle. She was still looking at B long, making sure that if ever anybody else would be walking through, I would get the kill. And that's the advantage of Team SMG, the trust that they are able to share with each other.
Speaking of that, ooh, Widows had someone walk through the crosshair. It's gonna be Muffin Loop up first.
You are
Too aggressive, and Shirazi, she swings down and still gets Rose. So much control from this girl, and showing us why exactly she is still possibly one of the best chamber players here for today. Now forced to go for the rotates, and Kamiyu will be the one with the aggressive pushes here. Prowler comes out, spots out at least one player, and Lexi from the other side. And that's a pincer, not allowing them to move at all. They have full control of the spike as well as the A lobby, the B lobby. And suddenly, for GE, everything has fallen apart. What are they gonna do here? As SMG has already taken up so much space. And the aggression comes out from Shirazi. One more pick from her. Gonna displace the other member with the pain shells. Nice little jump shot. Shirazi hasn't shot out at all. She knows her capabilities. Swaps out to the headhunter. Gives her space. And suddenly, looking for that pixel
30
play.
seconds left.
No one pushing out. I think from Meow 16k, I don't think she wants to go for that challenge. But again, SMG wants to go for that pincer. Nice little re-position from Shirazi, gives her 4. Headhunter and Op, are you kidding me?
Yep, 4K from both of those weapons, right? The first kill was amazing. That fadeaway shot gets that first kill. And what do you do if you're high play and you're Meow 16? The spike is nowhere near you. You want to be able to push for information, but you can't because all of your gadgets are scattered around the map. But it's so funny because Team SMG, even if they knew that they had the spike, I mentioned this, the discipline from the team, it's radiating with difference from how they played previously last year.
They will cover.
Well, again, Alexi pops that ultimate. The Empress gonna give her a lot of value. But they do have the lockdown. Is Alexi going to respond? It's a question. They do pass by themselves through the smoke. Alexi, Shirazi, 1 each. Who is Alexi? This fight getting that overheal and that beautiful reposition with the dismiss. She got 3, I believe. Look at that.
She did. They crossed paths, but Alexi was the first one to spot them out. When
I'm
Alexi
sorry.
has the Empress.
Can I please sing this?
Yes.
Alexi, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Alexi? You have to! She played that smoke so perfectly! She weaponized it!
Well, I guess things that we should recognize for this round will be noted by our amazing host and panelist, Raph and Ray Richu. What do you think about that first half?
Whew. What a first half to that map number 2, right? I mean, GE fans, we had a lot of hope at the start, right? Because it was started off with an 0-4 in favor of GE, but after that, it was like a switch went on in Team SMG's brains, and they were just like, you know, we're not gonna stand for this. We're just gonna go in guns blazing and just ended that 8-4. I think the casters also mentioned about how GE, especially round 5 onwards, just seem to be playing a bit safe. What do we think about that, Raph?
Well, I feel like at the start, you know, they immediately identified the problem that this is going to be a team, or at least on the side of SMG, that they're always going to be losing that utility shuffle, and G did such a great job of stopping that momentum early, and recognition is the buzzword, you know. They knew that, but SMG, what I really appreciate from them is that they know, oh hey guys, let's just put a hard stop to this, let's go for a quick reset instead of trying to overheat. And even without the tempo that more utility would provide, they still found a lot of success with, once again, a similar problem that G had in the first map, which is that pivotal first duel. Once you give Alexi or Shirazi that first pick, everything just falls into the hands of SMG, and we see that resilience really pushing through on the SMG squad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just going to be a huge question mark, right, for GE about how are they going to stop the SMG momentum? Can they stop Alexi's arena as well? We'll find out in the second half of map number 2. Donut and Tash Bunny, back to you.
In that first half, right, it was looking kind of grim for Team SMG, but 8 straight rounds for them to get to 8-4. And this is the map of GE Phoenix. Tash Bunny, it's kind of, the utility play was amazing for the first half of the first half, but what do you think now could be done by Team GE Phoenix for them to rise again?
I'm concerned because if you think double duelist, I would think that they would do better on the attack side for SMG, but they're really looking or really punishing GE for the aggression. They're really good at taking that space because the idea was the first 5 rounds, they couldn't really figure out what exactly GE was doing. You saw that timeout happen, and then suddenly you start seeing them push out actively. They have a nice little buddy system going, and I think that for the second half here, SMG with this aggression, if GE knows how to play with those utils, it might be a whole different story.
Yeah, definitely. Timing, where it should be placed. It is everything. And during this, defense is not gonna be the one pushing
God,
out.
already! Look at that! This is the power of the double duelist coming through here.
One
GE trying to play
enemy remaining.
aggressive, and SMG punishes them, only losing Tara.
Uh-oh. This is not looking good for Team GE Phoenix. Because this
enemy
is something that we
remaining.
expected, right? That aggression. But at the same time, if you say aggression to Team SMG, they actually fight back. They will
Yeah.
bite back, definitely. Because that's their game. That's their whole strategy, and that's how they were built. Team of duelists, knowing how to aim, firepower is check. But at the same time, if you're gonna go against them, at least try and cover your tracks.
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful haunt! And Alexi reacts to it immediately. Just picks up Meow. Shirazi as well. Gonna find Rose. Nice little pick off here from SMG. They're just playing the best they can. High fade as can't play! Shorty in her hand gets one
Last
lucky.
player
Quick
standing.
reaction time. Immediately the sprays comes a little bit too much from SMG, and GE is just completely overwhelmed. But they do lose two.
Yeah, that was a tough burden for them to face, right?
Last player standing.
Alexi just running through, even doing a 360 just to check the corners. And at that point, right, go Heidi, just making sure to cover her teammate. I think that's the power of this team play of SMG. Now it's a mix of both the aggression, at the same time, the synergy and the sync between these teammates. We see that on their videos, right, when they were introduced
Find you.
as a team. They're laughing together, so for sure this is fun for them. But that's not fun for Cameo, for sure.
No, but this is sort of a revenge situation, wasn't it? It was Kamiyu's haunt that spots her out, picks off Meow earlier. And now it's as though the wheel, one time you're on the wheel, you're at the top, and now you're at the bottom. It was round and round.
Recovering it.
They want to cover mid yet again. Cameo is down, so one less rifle to think about for Team GE Esports. Now they have the information because of that turret, but
Now
at
they're hold.
the same time.
She does not. Look at that come through Lear as well at the same time. Alexi still throwing one more. High fade as Tara though.
Down A.
Alexi just holding on for dear life. What are you gonna do here? That is a double swing from both teammates.
have to
Shirazi,
fight.
Alexi, one each. Beautifully done. Kohaibi, 30 HP left. She still has one more satchel to play with. Spots it. Gonna get that plant. No worries at all, but look at where the other two members of GE are. All the way from main and nice little cross. So
30
Shirazi does
seconds
go down to Rose. Rose, 5 HP
Last
left.
player
As her
standing.
teammate Alexi with that guardian taps have just been phenomenal for her. Alexi saves the day once again. And I was about to say earlier that we're not seeing hero plays for SMG, but Alexi is stepping up.
Yeah, I like that rotation. I like that rat play from Alexi. We might not have the space. Oh, Ivy's very low. She
Down
satchels
A.
in towards the site to try and plant the spike. But because of that utility, right, she tries to back away. And they try to buy more time. For sure, Alexi was saying,
player
wait,
standing.
I have them at the moment. And that second tap was just glorious. One shot through the head and she's able to get the 3K.
Where are you?
Once again, same lineup. This time, no one gets spotted. No, it is gonna be Meow. She takes that space. She is marked, but what can you do with a judge in hand? Look at the aggression or the answer from SMG. They're just holding and pushing together, and Tara punishes her. Take up that space. But we will play together. SMG knows their strength in numbers.
That's a lot, right? Even with the buy here, Sheriffs.
One enemy remaining.
Ife gets one. But what else can she get? Is she able to take a clutch?
Spike planted.
The rest of the team members of SMG, they're hunting for her.
Yeah, and she only has one sheriff in her hand. We have seen those headshots come from the Lear, as well as that duck from Alexi saves her life. And I really have to say that the crosshair placement was immaculate. Now, this is where everything went down, because she was marked, and no other members of GE were able to cover her.
Pardon, monsieur.
Yeah, they didn't want to push forward as well. She had the judge. She wanted to peek out, satchel in, but because of just one piece of utility, that haunt, it stopped everything. Now there is a timeout for Global Esports. They have to use this well take the most of this time to discuss, because Team SMG. And are we watching Alexi right now, or is this?
Oh,
I
not
think
sure. I can't
she's
see your hand.
feeling
Oh, no, it's Camus.
the heat. Oh, it's Camus.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Camus is probably like, whoa, I am serving this, the chili sauce, rather, or the Thai chilies, whatever it is that you want to eat. But let's talk about lineups here for Camus. She has been enabling her team so much. That Haunt takes up so much space of mid, and it punishes Meow 16k over and over again. She wants to go aggressive, she can't. And SMG, because they take some time, instead of rushing onto B, they're able to turn around and punish her for it.
Yeah, and also with all of the utilities of Tara as well. Look at her assists. It's 13 at the moment. I think most of that were garnered because of the
gravity
defensive
well.
side. And the gravity well, it's been really, really amazing. Vulnerability, they take advantage of that.
Yeah, look at Lexi right now. She already has the Empress. I'm expecting a very aggressive play from them. No pop-outs just yet. Immediately just gonna clear out with the Prowler. But he does take out the damage. Sprays out high phase. Saved. Not able to actually react to her utils because of that flash. See? Fighting for time. She did pop out the Empress eventually. She does have another gear to use, and high phase sprays a little bit too much. High phase ate so much damage. Was actually taken in by that seize as well. Her teammates locked down. Online for her. This is a very, very dangerous situation. They need to take this round. Last round for them to take as many rounds as they can. Still tall order for them to do.
Definitely another climb. But look at Meow 16k. She's already taken space, and if Shirazi is able to catch her, then probably this now is going to be equal odds.
You want to play? Let's play.
Shirazi's timing has just been phenomenal in terms of those lurks, but immediately High Fae is just on the aggression as well. She doesn't go too far from the team in terms of that lurks. Aftershock, sorry, fault line as well is used, and the lockdown finally goes down. Knife, just to give a little bit of presence, disable some utils. They have some information, but Kiri with the long rotation to come through, coming in as Rose in the end, and Shirazi with the tour de force. Do not peek this woman. 3 in her pocket. No detainment. Already losing 2 at the same time. Nice hold at Flowers. No pushes out just yet. Whiff. Nice reposition. Time is of the essence here, and immediately Shirazi beautifully done with the gravity well. They get 13-4 once again, and SMG shows why exactly they are dominating today.
Yeah, earlier on it was a mirror matchup, a 13-4. This time another 13-4 for Team SMG. And the first, that 4 of a score was taken from the first 4 rounds that they got the win. After they lost the 5th round, they were never able to recover from it. And that's something that you as a team have to really think about, right? Once you lose a round, you have to maintain that composure. It probably affected their mental moving forward, because you could see it with how they were positioned and how they were actually rotating towards the map. I think there was one time there wherein they had to save twice in a row for them to just recover some of the credits, but I think it isn't really enough for them.
It's a little bit too hard for them at that point because they were losing too many rounds in a row. At that point, their economy was just way too broken. If they were able to chain the rounds that they were able to take back, it might be a whole different story, but we did not see that. And on top of that, we did see the timeouts come through, and I was expecting to see another one, but we didn't see that quite yet from GE. And I think the problem was that, their biggest problem was trying to figure out what to do against SMG. Regardless, let's listen to our panel, Reira, Chu, and Raf, as to what they think about that match.
13-4 to close out that map number 2. Kind of a bait and switch from GE, right? Like winning the first 4 rounds and then getting 13-4. Bit of a disappointing showing from them. They will drop down to the lower bracket. However, that does give them another chance to climb back up over the next few days. Raf, what do we think that GE Phoenix need to work on over these next few days?
Well, first off, I feel like the recognition of the composition differences is something that they can really keep accentuating on. I thought that was one of their biggest strengths, But I feel like the way that they would have handled the adjustments on the side of SMG maybe have a little more impact off that KO, because I thought SMG did such a great job of managing their range, is that we never saw Shirazi get caught out by a null command or any of the 0 points. And that in turn has enabled her to just really pop off and dominate, as I mentioned, the longer angles. But on the side of GE, I feel like they have a good thing going still. We already see the semblances of the refinement. It's just, I also feel like it's a combination of SMG just being so absolutely strong right now that we are left to wonder, where is the point of error for SMG here? Because even with a composition that relied not as well on utility, they still found a way to make that happen. And again, just before I can nerd out, I feel like we'll have to throw it to the stats, because I feel like I'm just going on and on about this.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at the stats to see if the numbers ever lie, because they don't. I don't think they ever do, right? But Shirazi 405 with that combat score, 25-9 as well on the KD. I mean, I think the Des today got our wish, where we wanted to see the Reyna, you wanted to see the Chamber as well. We were talking about being able to utilize those long angles, and whew, boy, did Shirazi do that today. I mean, Alexi as well, 331 with the ACS, 22-6 on her KD. And I think Kohybe, we were all pretty hyped up to see her return with the Rays as well. But I think this time around, she kind of took a little bit of a backseat and then let her teammates shine, which was just so nice to see.
And we love to see that, right? Just to enable the entire team. Doesn't necessarily mean the spotlight's going to be on you all the time. But with everything we mentioned earlier, a round that I would love to highlight was round 15, where I feel like SMG was really wrestling mid-control away from GE. And Phoenix really couldn't respond in time, and they got run down. And they knew that in the next round they would be hyper-reactive. So they opt to accentuate the weaker buy, and even more by going for a heavy sight hit. And that just really put GE in a bit of a blender that they could not escape. But still, great showing from both these teams.
What do we think of the double duelist composition that SMG ran this time around, Ref? Do you think that we're going to see them try and use it in future maps? What do we think? Alexi, man. Girl.
Absolutely. Just give her the title of Empress already. She has made a case of being one of the most, if not the most lethal Reyna player we have. And do we feel like they're going to reinstate this type of composition against other teams? I think absolutely. If they feel like the heat check was enough, then they definitely have no reason to not to do it. And Shirazi with that Chamber just going absolutely wild too, giving GE Phoenix so many problems.
Yeah, and that's like the 23.5% of first blood percentage. The thing that I think we need to take note of is that it's on a chamber, it is not on a duelist main. So that's pretty much, if you're having like a 40% first blood percentage that you want your duelist to get, this is pretty much on defender's side. She is almost always getting that first blood. Like, that's just what the numbers mean. And it's just, she's a chamber, she's doing her job, and she's just making sure that at the start of those rounds, it just turns into a 5v4, and that just opens up so many possibilities, so much opportunities for the rest of the Team SMG squad. So very well deserved MVP for Shirazi. I mean, her and Alexi in map 1 as well. We had so many questions, right, about how well this team would gel together. We knew that individually they were so strong on paper, but we were like, how will they play as a team? And I think that today they answered that question pretty well.
Really well. And with, again, utility stacked against Shirazi, just designed to flush her out, she remained, as you mentioned, very composed and decided, this is my game. I am going to absolutely tear anybody apart that dare crosses my line of sight. And wow, what a series, right? I feel like this has really reinforced that the narrative of SMG, they're an unstoppable force. They're just so deadly, and a big warning to every top team out there too.
I mean, she was pretty much like, chamber nerf? Nah, what chamber nerf? Come on. So my question for you right now, Raf, is it too early to call the SMG number 1? What do we think?
I feel like we have to see arguably our other favorites, Sapphire and RQ Kaguya, to perform, right? To really have a good measurement of where they really stack up. But with mentioning those three in the conversation, I feel like SMG, no matter how sure we are, they are still a word of warning. Perform or SMG will take your soul.
Exactly, and just Team SMG closing out our first series of today with absolute dominance, 13-4 on both their maps, winning that series 2-0. Guys, we're going to take a very short break before we come back with our second and final series of today. It's going to be Orangutan versus Big Scythe. You don't want to miss it. We'll see y'all in just a bit.